Welcome to the podcast about venture capital, where investors and founders alike can learn how VCs make decisions and reach conviction. Your host is Nick Moran, and this is The Full Ratchet.
Welcome back to The Full Ratchet. On today's special segment of Investor Stories, the investors address trends, sectors, and markets that they think are positioned for outsized returns in the future. This is the segment called What's Next? On today's special segment, we have Nikhil Basu Trivedi. Nikhil, can you talk about sectors or trends that you're bullish on?
Right now, given what's happening in the country, I'm thinking a lot about the climate crisis, about the public health crisis that we're in, and these areas like healthcare technology and climate technology need more innovation. We need more talented people to work on new ideas there. I think these are massive, generational problems to solve. And so I really hope to see more great companies get built in those two areas, for instance. And I hope to invest in several of them.
On today's special segment, we have Janet Bannister of Real Ventures. Janet, can you talk about sectors or trends that you're bullish on?
I mean, we do invest in a lot of different areas. I think I'll stick with marketplaces for a second. I think marketplaces, and I'm not just talking consumer marketplaces, I'm talking business to business marketplaces. I think that they will continue to fundamentally change a lot of industries. And I view marketplaces as fundamentally making inefficient markets more efficient by reducing the number of layers in between the sellers and the buyers. And so we have marketplaces in a wide range of industries. We have one in the construction industry, in the digital health industry. I mentioned one in the partners channel. And so I think that there's lots of opportunities for continued growth in marketplaces. So that's one area. I think also just digital health, really excited about the ability of technology to improve our healthcare delivery.
On today's special segment, we have Sach Chitnis of Jump Capital. Sach, can you talk about sectors or trends that you're bullish on?
I'm very bullish on this, the future of commerce. It's just transforming every day. You just go through Black Friday and the numbers of people buying online. But that experience of walking into a mall, I've always said that it's not, in more recent times, it's dying. You don't go to a mall to discover new brands, to shop. You go there to buy. And I think when you think about the e-commerce experience, you're missing on that element. So I think that's an area that we're really honed in on. Two is we love everything around the sports betting space. It's an interesting segment because it blends entertainment and facets of financial capital markets, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
Three, for us, we believe very strongly in, kind of the era of control, this element that consumers want to control their finances. M1 Finance, one of our investments here in Chicago, is a great example of that. But being able to control your investments, not just hand it off to some third party to manage. Similarly, data privacy, controlling your data to, making sure that it doesn't leave the bounds of your business or as a consumer. So there's a lot of these kind of areas that I'd say we're pulling the thread on, so to speak. And I'd say one thing that is adapting for us and accelerating is because you have a regime change in Washington. We believe compliance tech, which was an area of focus for us, will accelerate. So that's another area of real, reg tech, compliance technologies to kind of support businesses to adapt to a ever-changing taxation and government environment is going to be really important in the next 2 to 4 years.
On today's special segment, we have Guy Perelmuter of Grids Capital. Guy, aside from just deep tech, can you talk about sectors or trends that you're bullish on?
Oh, sure. I think there's a lot to like about synthetic biology. I think this is where, we're looking at tremendous overlaps now. We're looking at this convergence of technology in infrastructure. We're understanding laws of nature a little better. We have the tools to peek into process that we couldn't look at before, and then now are going to give us further insight on how life works at a cellular level, how we can synthesize new drugs, and how we can make a lot of effective changes in the way people live and lead productive lives. So definitely that's an area to keep an eye on. I think when it comes to natural language processing, right, NLP, I think this is, and again, AI, which you can argue that NLP is part of, has become so pervasive now. It's become so horizontal that it's not a matter of thinking about AI, but thinking about industries and businesses and how AI is going to be applicable. And I think that NLP is going to continue to be huge because there will be a shortage of people willing to take jobs that are just Q&A types of jobs where they're going to be available to clarify your questions or going to be able to take your call as a customer. So I think we're going to see a whole shift there where you're going to have not only automated units replying your calls and your doubts, but I think we're going to have a very hard time to realize if we're talking to a human or to a machine, because again, NLP technology is going to continue to grow by leaps and bounds, and that's another area that we strongly believe in. And lastly, I think there's a lot to like about automation in general. I think that when you look at robotics, I think people are gradually understanding that the world is not going to be dominated by robots, but I think we're going to be living with robots or cobots, the ones that are collaborative and that are safe to be around and so on and so forth. So I think that there's a lot to like about the industries and even the services that are looking at robots for automation, but also for collaboration to make sure that we can be more productive when we engage with an artificial entity that is going to help us perform a specific task. So these are at least three of the areas we're very bullish on and that we're actively tracking.
Love it. Actually, the very first product I ever developed was a low-code, no-code solution for automation, robotic automation, highly articulated robots and semiconductor wafers and printed circuit board manufacturing. And this is back in, this was 2008 maybe. And we actually based the product on MATLAB Simulink because there was, to your point earlier in the conversation about building blocks, there's just so few back then and even now, building blocks are coming and enabling, but there's still so much more that can be done that, value can be built on top of once, some of the fundamentals are easier and not everything needs to be built ground up.
Absolutely.
That will conclude this installment of Investor Stories. If you're enjoying the program and would like to see it continue, take a moment and leave a 5-star review in iTunes. Also, if you'd like updates on new content from TFR, as well as the top 10 VC articles every week, go to fullratchet.net and sign up for the newsletter. Okay, that will wrap things up for today. Until next time, over-prepare, choose carefully, and invest confidently. Thanks for joining me.